The estates in Postal 2 are strange. It's an area the game never requires you to visit. Being tucked away in the corner of the map and no errands taking place here, you could close out the entire week without ever setting foot in this zone. But that isn't to say that it's not without merit. There's many quirks and interesting details scattered throughout. So sit back, relax, and allow me to take you on a guided tour of the estates.
Thank you for choosing the Paradise Visitors Bureau.
The estate has 3 entrances, one being attached to the suburbs, and the other 2 leading to the Running with Scissors block. We'll start our journey here on this bridge, not far from the mall, as it's likely the most commonly used entrance. Though it may not be a player's first encounter with these billboards, these giant advertisements for napalm, a bank, and the free clinic that is specifically about gonorrhea helps add texture to the game's world as well as alluding to errands and locations later in the week. Like this sign, much of Paradise is in disrepair. The adjacent wall is broken, and the paint on the concrete carport just next to it is chipped and flaking. The first house on the right is mostly unremarkable, except for the health pipe served up on a plate. Due to the way that NPCs react when you enter their homes, the occupants will run to alert the authorities and bring them to your location.
He's killing up everyone! I'll go check.
Police! Police!
Stay calm, I'll go check it out. He's the one! Get on the ground! Okay, you're coming in!
Another billboard outside advertises Offerlina, a mystery shredded beef product, which seems to be a throwback to some of the more disgusting recipes of the 1950s. Heading up these concrete stairs to the house on the level above, we'll find that it not only has an AC unit, but a wood fire stove as well, which, given the carpet, seems like a fire hazard. What's more remarkable is found deeper within. The bathroom of this house is covered in blood. It's also accompanied by several surgical devices. There is some environmental storytelling going on here, especially considering that several of the occupants of this house are dressed as scientists. If you come to this location on Tuesday and go to the back of the house, a scientist spawns there as well, and so does a half-buried casket, which is gone the next day. Speaking of, if you return to the main street on Wednesday, you'll find that the estate is hosting a street party. There's music and dancing and refreshments, but unfortunately, you were not invited. This big building at the top of the hill contains all manner of weaponry on different days. Directly across the street is a house which you could consider the main base of operations for the game's protesters. An assortment of different picket signs are stored here throughout the week, until Friday, in which all of the signs are replaced with dynamite. Though they were generally cut from the game, the vegetarian flavor of protester are present here along with their signs. Returning outside, you can use this minivan to climb onto the roof. From here, you can scale the power lines and do an almost complete circuit of the estates, though this won't lead to any new areas with items to grab. If you do end up in a shootout, be sure to watch your fire around these green pipes, as if they're hit, they'll explode in a chain reaction, and also take out this cool car if it's present. The house down this little flight of steps is quite small, but is also host to a whole bunch of cats. It sort of reminds me of that one lady stockpiling pillows in Morrowind. Just next to this building is an odd little spot that really sticks out to me. There's this extremely steep concrete staircase right next to these large foundation slabs with iron girders propping up this house. I can't really put my finger on why this part sticks out to me so much, but it really does. It also leads to a small drainage tunnel below. A little further over yonder is a house belonging to the Rednecks. As the sign next to the door warns, if you step foot on the patio, they will release the hounds. I find the 2 giant scorch marks behind the stovetops to be quite funny and a nice little detail. Unlike many of the houses in the estates, these guys are actually lucky enough to have their own washer and dryer. No laundromat for this household. Despite how many occupants there may be, upstairs there is only one singular bed, so we have to assume that they're all sleeping in shifts or on the floor. Something else that really sticks out is in the bathroom. Though the tub is full of beer bottles, that's almost expected at this point. The toilet, however, seems to have been repurposed as a large vase with a plant growing out of it. Where are these guys shitting is a question that isn't necessarily deserving of an answer. But we have one anyway. Downstairs and back outside, past the signs for the Parcel Center and Meat World and this crushed car, we'll find that the toilet blockage has been circumvented by this outhouse. It might seem silly, but I find that it's details like this that make Paradise such an interesting place to explore. The next house over remains quite typical until the end of the week. On Thursday and Friday, there is a combination of stockpiled explosive barrels, Molotov cocktails, and an increase in the number of fanatics in the house. Several of the houses seem to belong to one particular faction or group. That's also the case on the very final house on this street. From Tuesday onwards, there is an increasing number of SWAT members that spawn here.
Hey, did you see that show on TV last night with the people and that funny thing that happens? I forget. Listen, just tell me what you think.
Also leading to several weapons spawning upstairs. Something quite remarkable about this house is that it has a unique model. In the living room there are 4 dumbbells, and as far as I can tell, these don't appear anywhere else in the game. The house next door also seems to be the local haunt for some of the Running with Scissors guys. Obviously it's the best house in the estates because it has an arcade machine and Postal on PC, as well as a Larry the Crab doll. Travelling up the road to the last house on the hill, we'll pass by one water tower and be in view of another one. From the top of the stairs we can see 2 more billboards, one being an advert for the Paradise Times and their coverage of Marmoset basketball. I'm not sure if this has anything to do with the test monkeys that were originally cut from the game, or if it's just a ridiculous visual gag. The other is also for the Paradise Times, advertising the Splatterpope and Postal Girl comic in the Sunday edition, which was actually a real but very short webcomic by lead designer and artist Steve Wick. The final building is the most dilapidated in all of the estate, to the point it's actually been condemned by the City of Paradise. The Inspections Division takes the job quite seriously, as the penalty for the removal of this placard is death by vivisection. Despite the state of disrepair that the walls are in, I quite like how this lamp gives off directional lighting, illuminating some of the room. There's furniture and debris strewn about this entire house, but upstairs there is a pile of furniture and boxes, allowing you to climb up into the rafters. Unfortunately, there's also a bunch of dead cats up there. Climbing past them to the very end, you can see that on this piece of corrugated iron, there is a relatively rare pickup, which allows you to see who's carrying a weapon on the radar. And that's pretty much it for the estates. Did I miss anything? How do you feel about the estates? Do you like this style of video? I'd love to hear your feedback, so let me know in the comments below.
This has been your guide to paradise. Thanks for watching.